Right, it's a Passenger Records interview with Brent Newitt. So it's been a while since we last did an interview with you, about 8 or 9 years now. Do you want to tell us a bit about what's been happening on the Passenger label since then?
Well, I've taken over Passenger now, so it's just me running it. Still going to be focusing just on breakbeat, which is, I wouldn't say the label's first love, because the label was pretty varied when it started, because it was a, I'm sure everyone knows this anyway, who's into breakbeat, but, well, actually, probably not the younger guys, but Passenger started off as a spin-off of Polydor, because Aquasky got signed to Polydor in '96, I think it was, and but we didn't want to have the sort of name Polydor attached to what we were doing, because drum and bass was very underground at that point. Even though most people were already signed major label deals by '96, we were one of the last. I mean, literally, we were the last because we didn't really know what we were doing, because we was only young, and we used to come home from like the studio or from London or wherever, and there'd be an answer phone message on the phone. It used to be cassette tapes and answer machines back then, and it was just every time there was like this chap, Simon Gavin from Polydor, always leaving messages, wanting to sign us, and we didn't have a bloody clue, to be honest with you, so we just sort of fended it off for nearly the best part of a year. Eventually we ended up with doing some music with Lady Miss Keir from Delight, and from there she was good friends with a guy called Gerald, and I got on really well with a guy called Gerald. He was good friends with Digo and Mark from 4 Hero and Reinforced already, who I was good mates with by this point. And so I just then started hanging out with a guy called Gerald, and he had a friend who used to be over the studio all the time. I think he was Gerald's manager. Dermot was his name, Dermot, and his brother was a manager, and he had a management place in Camden, and we then found out his brother was actually Chaz Smash from Madness. So we ended up being managed by Chaz Smash from Madness, driving around Camden or London in his old Rover 3.5 litre V8, bit mental really, and then his partner was Paul Dowling, and they went off and got the deal with Polydor, and it was a very good deal, and kept us going for many years. And but part of probably one of the only conditions we had was that it didn't come out on Polydor, which they were a bit annoyed about, because it's Polydor and it's well renowned, and Hendrix was on it, and I mean everyone was on it, and so they were, but they were cool. We got the deal done, and that's how Passenger started in '97. What have we been doing since then? Basically putting out a lot of breakbeat. We went through a phase of doing a lot of bootlegs on a lot of other labels, and I'd easily say on record that I believe that was probably the death bell of breaks, because there was more bootlegs coming out than there were original releases. I mean, we were putting out as more original releases than we were bootlegs at that point, so we didn't completely go down the bootleg route, but we were very prolific, so we put an awful lot out. So then we got a bit jaded by breaks. Can't remember, we had some, basically we were finding vocalists, and a lot of people were just nicking our vocalists and just going off and working with them without even having the courtesy to speak to us about it. So we, that just annoyed all of us really. So we kind of then went off and done Black Noise, which is more sort of bashy 4/4 kind of bassline stuff. That was with Southern Fried, and a bit of that kind of sound then reflected onto Passenger around about 2007, 2008. So it went off a bit of a tangent during those years, and then come, I think 2010, we started writing Raise the Devil, which is our sort of like decision to come back into breakbeat, because we were very influenced by Control Z. Actually, they did a tune, I can't remember the name of it now, but if Vinci's watching, I'm sure he'll know what the name.
Was this one of their first sort of 140 jungle tracks? Isn't it?
Yeah. And I heard that, and I was just like, man, it's like breakbeat's back. This is what breaks should be about. And for me personally, I mean, you know, not everyone thinks breaks is that or that or that. But for me, it was all of that kind of bassline sound, which is what I loved as a producer and a DJ, and just a fan of the music and a music fan. And that's still what I love. So that's kind of where we're sort of at now. I'm putting a lot of stuff out that has a little hint of that old sound, if not more than a hint, a massive dose. But it's funny because now we're 14 years after we started making breakbeat, so that's a whole generation. That's 2 generations of producers. So you know, everyone starts drawing influences from time gone by, and it seems that, you know, people started drawing influences from the early Aquasky stuff. Very long answer, but that's kind of hope. That's kind of been a busy 9 years.
So a lot's changed since then. Are you still buying vinyl, still selling vinyl, and still pressing vinyl?
I'll answer that from the latter first. Are we pressing vinyl? No, we're not. It was with a very. I was really disappointed when we had to stop, but we just couldn't keep going. We just couldn't afford to waste money like we were, just for the sake of being old school and keeping vinyl alive. It just wasn't a good business practice, and we lost money from doing so. And we just decided this really isn't like a business model that works, especially in the modern day. So we knocked that on the head. I can't remember what that was. I think we released something on vinyl relatively recently. I can't recall what it was now. Funk Case and Genetics remixes of the Aquasky single off Razor Devil. Am I still collecting vinyl? Yes, very much so. I haven't stopped collecting since I started when I was 13, and first started buying records when I was 6. So no, that's stuck with me forever, basically. And I'm still playing vinyl. No, I'm playing Serato with vinyl controllers to get that live feel, because I'm a bit sick of hearing mixes that are just dead tight all the time, and you know it's just been done in a computer, and it just doesn't do that much for me. I like to hear that someone's working their set, and that's kind of what I want to do now. So I'm using the controller vinyl, but that's only in breakbeat or DJ club sets. If I'm doing a hip hop set or a breaks, beats, funk, jazz, Latin, whatever, then I'll just draw upon like the record collection.
You signed up quite a few new artists in recent years on Passenger. Can you tell us a bit about these artists? For example, 601, Radio Killers, Zombie Robot, Eat Rave, etc.
They're all artists that I really like. I sort of sort them out because I like what they do, because that's what record labels do. So that's what I did. They had that, they got that sound that I like, which still has the hint of the old school. That's kind of what has always stayed true with Aquasky and the label Passenger. Something that still drives, certainly drives me to this day. The memories of the parties back then. So all of these guys have got that vibe. Whether we influenced them or not, I have no idea. I don't ask those questions, but it does sound. There are elements of what I remember from the old 138 bassline days. Mm-hmm. Radio Killers, yeah, they got that ragga thing going on that I really like, heavy ragga. vibes going on.
The girls number one. Them rush me like a madman, love rubbish up in a pan. Them say that different day your article done. Don't let a man know that too far no. Danny Lion. We see the pattern for the friend, them see the pattern for the version. The girl them dapper.
Zombie Robot, very happy to have hooked up with him because he's got that musical vibe, the Aquasky sound,
Yeah, definitely.
which I really like. Like 601 are just, you know, monsters. They keep, you know, just keep getting better and better, and you know, the quality is just always on the level. Yeah, blimey, who else? Futurism, that was, I like Futurism because they sounded like that Scanner 93 sound of Jungle. Very musical, piano-y kind of strings and builds and
Very hard
amens and stuff like that. I like that. That's very unique to them. I think who else have we been releasing? Blimey, there's been an awful lot recently. Aquasky, they're quite fun.
Push them up there, up there, up there, up there, up there. Hands in the air, Mr. Push them up there, up there, up there, up there, up there. Hands in the air, Mr. Push them up there, up there, up there, up there, up there. Hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, hands in the air, Mr. Push them up there, up there, up there, up there, up there. Hands in the air, Mr. Push them up there.
Speaker Bomb, they're from Italy, and now that's totally different. That's kind of what they call turbo funk, which is like, it's not new funk. I'll put that down. It's but it's slower breaks, but it's got a musical kind of sampled feel to it, which I really like because I'm all about the samples and the riffs and the loops. So I like what those boys are doing. Ragga Twins, we've got a Ragga Twins sort of compilation coming out soon with new tunes.
I was about to ask you about the Ragga Twins. You hooked up with them, what, 10 years ago now? Or over that?
14
years
ago, yeah.
Mm. How did that come about?
Well, we signed, we did 2 EPs for Botch It and Scarpa, which we signed in 2000, and it was Sure Shot and 777, and they both wrote about the same time, about 99, 2000, and but the thing is with 777, though it's regarded as the sort of first bassline or the start of the bassline break genre, and it was an interview with us that term was first used to describe us, which I thought was a really good term actually. We made, there was an old school feel, if anyone knows that tune. Maybe give a blast of it right now. We wanted to make an album which was Beat the System, and that was like all about old school, with old school influences. And myself and Kieran at that time had gone to Fantasia in '92 down here in Bournemouth, and various other raves, and we'd seen the Ragga Twins loads, but the one at Bournemouth was the big one because that was just mental, and we took over the beach all the next day, and you know, thousands of people. Ragga Twins was down there, so I've always had a respect for the guys. And So I was speaking to Botch It and said I wanted to find the Ragga Twins, and Sonia, rest in peace, she from Soto, she had a contact for the Ragga Twins, so she put us in contact with Flinty, and I went over and saw Flinty, and then just went over in his flat in Hackney and just had a beer one afternoon, chatted about stuff, played him a load of music, and we got on really well. I then met Demon, got on really well. And so yeah, 14 years later, and we've just done 2 new tunes, and yeah, they just come down for social visits and stuff like that. They know my family, and I kind of know their family. They've got a big family. I don't know all of their family, but yeah, good friends.
Electric word, life that means forever, and it's a mighty long time. But I'm here to tell you something else.